Happy Thursday. Happy NFL Draft Day, everybody. We are live, and local today and every morning from 6 to 9:30 a.m. right here on FM 96.9 The Game, AM 740, HD Radio 101.1-2. You can watch us on social media if you like. Just go to YouTube. Go to the YouTube machine, search for Open Mic Live Stream, and there we are. There I am, Mike Bianchi, the Bulldog, sports columnist of the Orlando Sentinel. There he is, Adam Reardon, the deceptive intellect. And there he is, Austin Pastolka, the Sultan of Sound.
Yeah, that's right, Mike. And for all of our female listeners out there, you can head on over to the YouTube page right now and check out The Gun Show, baby! Bro Tank City in the studio today.
Oh, you checking out my guns?
Yeah, your guns. They're
guns.
Fantastic, Mike.
I'm flexing right now on the stream.
Right. I'm not watching the stream, but I'm sure Adam is loving all these different angles of the buys and the tries and the pectorals.
He actually asked me, he's like, hey, do you mind if I move the camera up here? It gives it like a better,
better lighting, get the shadows going.
It's a better angle, you know what I mean? It's all about the angles when you're taking photos of yourself.
That's right.
To impress others on the interweb.
100%.
The old angle of the dangle.
The dangle of the lights, right?
That's it. Yeah. All right, it's NFL Draft Day. We want to hear from you guys. We are pumped up. We have all sorts of topics. We have all sorts of polls up. You can give us a call, 407-916-8255. You can tweet us at 96.9 The Game. You can text us on our Academy Sports and Outdoors text line, 50857. Do we have all draft polls up today? I think we do, right?
I believe so, yeah. Except for the Would You Rather one.
Except for the Would You Rather. We have all NFL draft polls up today regarding the three state teams, the Jags, the Bucs, the Dolphins, who they should draft, all sorts of stuff. So go to at 969 The Game on Twitter and check out our polls and vote on them. We're going to give you a chance to win $1,000 starting at 7:10 a.m. and then on the 10s throughout the day. All right, 7:10 a.m., 8:10 a.m., 9:10 a.m. during our show, and then on the 10s 12 times a day. We call it the Game Day Payday, brought to you by International Diamond Center. Before we get into our NFL draft coverage, let's start with an open mic early morning inspirational quote of the day. From the great Abraham Lincoln, who once said, and I quote, "The best way to predict the future is to create it," end quote.
I think we've actually had this one before. I think we finally got to the end of the box of cards that you shuffle through. I think we've had this one before, or I've heard this before.
We may have.
The best way to predict the future is to create it. Is that what we went with? Yeah, that's pretty self-explanatory. I mean, for some of us out there, we're trying to wonder what's going to happen tomorrow. I'm trying to think, this could happen, this could happen. No, you've got a bigger influence on that. You can make happen what you want to have happen, but you got to put in the W-O-R-K.
Nice.
It always comes down to that.
Yeah. So listen, don't think about what could happen. Think about what you're going to make happen. Okay?
Nice. Yeah, there you go. Bingo. Right there. That's the Cliff Notes version right there. Yeah. All right, a lot of polls to vote on with the NFL draft. Before we get to it, though, give me a little magic music.
Woo!
Yeah. Oh.
What tank?
Yeah.
I'm not tanking. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh. Yeah. How'd that taste, Cleveland? Huh? All the Magic wanted to lose last night. They tried to lose last night, but the Cavaliers said, we're having none of that. We are having none of that. We're going to play even worse than you did. Actually, rookie point guard Cole Anthony played really well for the Magic. He scores 12 crucial points in the fourth quarter as the Magic take down the Cavaliers in an NBA battle of futility last night, 109-104. Do we have any sound of that game?
Spinning into the middle. Anthony, left-handed shot. He banked it in. Miraculous shot by Cole Anthony. Rejected by Carter. see the basket. My goodness, what a shot.
Ain't no quit, yo. We all young, we all hungry. Even us dudes who are a little older, they hungry too. They here for a reason, man. I mean, as I said, look, ain't been the best season, but that don't mean we can't get some positive things going.
Cole Anthony saying, hey, we can get some positive stuff going. I want to give some kudos. To David Steele and Jeff Turner, who do the Magic broadcast on TV, who also do it on the radio, on simulcast. Play just a little bit of that montage again.
Anthony spinning into the middle. Anthony, left-handed shot. He banked it in. Miraculous shot by Cole Anthony. Rejected by Carter. Picked up by Bacon. Bacon driving. Layup is good. Anthony. Another difficult finish by Cole Anthony.
He's just getting up as high as he can. He didn't even see the basket.
That's good. They're still enthusiastic. They're still enthusiastic about, watching the Magic, talking about the Magic, bringing a little energy. Wouldn't it be hard sitting through every Magic game, all of the losses, all of the futility, all of the rebuilds over the last 10 years? Wouldn't it be hard to maintain your enthusiasm?
No. I mean, no. No, because people talk about things like this. Here, when teams are bad, here's what fans and the front office are going, which one of these guys can we move? Do we need a new head coach? Nobody's ever sitting around the office going, to make this team better? You know the improvements we need to make? Color and play-by-play guy. That's whose job's on the line with this season. Those guys know that they're there.
They're set. They're doing the thing that they want to do.
Even more of a reason to not be enthusiastic. You're not going to lose your job. You're not playing for anything. You're not talking for anything.
Yeah, but their job is essentially enthusiasm. Now we're listening to clips from a win too, so maybe they're a little bit more excited. I'd have to go back. Well, you can just take your pick of just about any game we've got on record here. There's another shot by Kemba Walker. Another three by Kemba Walker. Oh, another three by Kemba Walker. Dagger to the eyes. Oh, my God. Turn the thermostat down because it's time to go to bed.
I'm giving them credit, all right?
They're professionals. They're doing their jobs. Don't give them credit. They want the paycheck. They're getting the paycheck.
I know, but hell, our job is to be enthusiastic when we talk about sports, and sometimes when I'm talking about the Magic, I'm not enthusiastic at all. In fact, they won last night. I'm not enthusiastic about that.
Yeah, because they're hurting their chances of the number one pick. I'm sitting there going, why? What would you do this for? I don't understand. Why are we trying to win games here? I don't understand. Did they not get the memo last night?
They are 19-43 now. They did move ahead of idle Detroit into 14th in the Eastern Conference. They're no longer in dead last in the Eastern Conference as long as they finish in the top. The worst 3 or 4 in the league. Their percentages are essentially about the same. So it's not like they have to finish with the worst record. I mean, if you finish with, I believe it's the top 4 record, or the top bottom 4 record, your percentages of the ping pong balls is just about the same. So it's not like they have to finish absolutely worse. Steve Clifford, by the way, Magic coach, did not coach again last night. He is still in COVID-19 protocol. Evidently, he's still asymptomatic and feeling great, but not able to coach because of the time frame, I guess. So Orlando returns to action. When did they play again? Did
Saturday.
They play?
Friday.
Friday against Memphis, I believe.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
First of a back-to-back set with the Grizzlies, so the Magic will return to action on Friday. All right, we're going to get into the NFL draft. Obviously, the Jaguars are already on the clock as we get ready for the draft tonight in Cleveland. In all, 259 players will be selected. Many of those could come from the state of Florida. We're going to get to that story next and many other draft day stories coming your way on Open Mic.
Bianchi's got to get a quick workout in.
Tom, you are. Those sneaky politicians. See what they did last night? So that, remember, we talked about it a couple weeks ago, the transgender athlete bill. All right? Mm-hmm. So evidently it was everybody thought it was not going to be voted on this session. It was dead, all right? It was dead. And late yesterday afternoon, guess what? It was reintroduced in another bill. All right? So they took it away from, having a standalone Senate transgender bill, and they shoved it into another bill that has to do with charter schools, and they voted on it and passed it.
Whoa!
So, yeah. So, 11th hour maneuver by the Republican leadership in Congress, and now the transgender athlete bill, which would essentially ban transgender females from competing in girls and women's sports, not only in high school, but in college in the state of Florida. That's going to be sent to Governor Ron DeSantis for him to sign. And I'm assuming, since he's a Republican, he's going to sign this bill. And then, we talked about it a lot. All right. There's really not a problem in the state of Florida when it comes to transgender females competing in girls or women's sports. In fact, I did a column on it. Since the FHSAA passed its own transgender sort of what's the word? A policy.
Yeah.
The FHSA, it was 10 years ago, they passed their own transgender policy, and since that time, in 10 years, there's only been 11 transgender athletes of any kind who competed in the state of Florida, and only 2 transgender females. And it's never been an issue. Never been an issue. Nobody raised an issue about it. It's not like transgender females are, competing in the state of Florida and dunking basketballs and running 9.9 in the 100 meters. All right, so it's not an issue, but it doesn't matter. It's a political. A lot of states are passing this because it's a political thing. It's a political ploy. So even though we don't really need it in the state of Florida, we're passing it anyway. Sneaky politicians.
Isn't this part of this bill is like if you suspect somebody's a trans, you're allowed to like ask for a genital examination?
Nah, they take that out. They did take that out.
But but somebody thought it was a good idea to put that in there. Like, hey, I got a great idea. Maybe we can take a sneak peek if we'd like.
Yeah.
All right, Bill,
I don't know.
We know where your head's at.
I don't know about number 16. Drop trowel. Let's check it out.
Yeah.
Well, originally that was in the original bill, but that was I guess that was one of the things that they took out to sort of make it more palatable to some.
Yeah. Anyway. The guy who tried to introduce that must have been close friends with that Getz guy and the tax collector from this area.
Joel Greenberg.
Yeah.
Good Lord. Joel Greenberg, who used to do I've told you that story, he used to do a sports talk radio show on our station right before my show.
But didn't he only show up for like a week, if I remember correct?
Yeah, Joel Greenberg, again, his dad is the founder of all these Greenberg dental clinics around the state and around Central Florida. I mean, his dad's a multi-millionaire, and his dad essentially just funded Joel Greenberg to do whatever he wanted. So Joel Greenberg wanted, for a while, he wanted to be a sports...
right now. Going, no, not everything. Not everything. Hold on, Mike. Not everything.
Well, anyway, his dad, he wanted, for a while, at least, Joel Greenberg wanted to be a sports talk radio host, and so his dad said, okay, we can buy the time on, FM 96.9 The Game, because we sell brokered shows. So Joel Greenberg, he wanted to be on, he wanted to take my spot, essentially. But the station wouldn't agree to that, so they put him on at 5 a.m., all right? 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. on our station, and he would show up at 5 a.m., and you could tell he hadn't been to sleep. Sometimes he was still drunk from the night before. He lasted about, I don't even think he lasted a full week. I don't think he lasted a full week getting in at 5 a.m. And He had actually a talented co-host. Do you remember Allie Peak? Allie Peak?
Allie Peak?
Yeah.
She's married to
Eric Wilbur.
Yes.
Eric Wilbur. Allie Peak Wilbur. Anyway, she really knows a lot about college football, a lot about sports. So she was on with him, all right? So he just essentially bails, and he paid her salary to do his show. So
turned into the Allie Peak Power Hour.
Yeah, so that was the Joel Greenberg.
You know, it's awkward now is like, whoever was in charge of that and like thinking to themselves like, I did take my payment in Venmo though. God, we're really not like to be on that guy's Venmo history.
Yeah. I'm sure Allie Peak was being paid out of the Seminole County Tax Collector fund.
She does a podcast now. I know she does a podcast, a fairly successful one. So good for her.
Yeah. So anyway, all right. Let's do a spontaneous text question.
Spontaneous text question of the day.
Okay, it is NFL Draft Day. Obviously, here's the text question. Everybody has a favorite team. Everybody has a favorite NFL team, or at least most people do. Most of our listeners do. Biggest draft bust in your team's history. Biggest draft bust in your team's history. Text them in to 50857. I'm a Jaguars fan. Jaguars fan. Who's the biggest? The Jaguars have had a bunch of them. I'm gonna go with Derek Harvey. Remember the Gator defensive end who was?
Yeah.
He was a bust, but I don't think he was the biggest bust. I'm gonna go this one. All right. Do you remember when I think it was like the 18th pick overall. Google where Matt Jones, the former Arkansas so the Jaguars needed a wide receiver, all right? And this was, again, I don't have the year in front of me, but they drafted Arkansas quarterback Matt Jones, and they converted him
2005
into and they and where was he picked? Was it 18th,
21st?
21st. Anyway, there were loads of receivers available. All right, I think Roddy White was drafted 4 or 5 spots later. Roddy White turned into a great receiver for the Atlanta Falcons. In fact, I think he's the Falcons' all-time leader in receptions, maybe even ahead of Julio Jones. But the Jaguars drafted Matt Jones, a quarterback, and converted him to wide receiver, and he was just a total flop. I mean, why did they do that? I'm going Matt Jones as the Jaguars.
Why'd they do it, Mike? I don't think, if you remember, I want to say at like a pro day or a combine, what did you do, peel off like a 4.40 or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, he was a big, tall, he was like 6'6" or something, and he ran well, but still. I mean, Roddy White was a big receiver, and he ran well, too. If you want a receiver, how about drafting a receiver?
Well, now, was he supposed to be a receiver, or was he supposed to be sort of like a tight end receiver, just a tremendous athlete, best player available, because he could play quarterback, and he could play receiver/tight end. I mean, he was and then he was then he got in trouble, with...
I think he had some drug issues as well.
Cocaine in the console of his car or something like that.
So, anyway, I'm going with him. Mark Daniels just texted in, the bigger story of the transgender bill is it also delays name, image, and likeness 1 year until 2022, and that is the hidden news. I did not know that. It was so hidden, in fact, so hidden that it's not in the Orlando Sentinel story that I was reading this morning. Yeah.
Thanks.
So, I did not know name, image, and likeness, which was supposed to take effect this July, has been postponed a year, which is, I'm sure state of Florida colleges are happy about that because they had no idea what they were going to do in July. Hey, let's put the Twitter handles on the backs of the jerseys. That'll be our answer. Yeah. So anyway. All right, text in 50857 your NFL team, your favorite NFL team's biggest draft bust. Do you guys have one?
Well, I'm I guess a pseudo Baltimore Ravens fan because of Ray Lewis and Ed Reed. I've never had a really favorite pro team, but I remember when they took Kyle Bowler. Kyle Bowler and the Ravens very rarely miss in the first round, but he was that guy. I remember his pro day. He was on his knee, on one knee, and could throw the ball 60 yards down the field. And I remember saying, well, I don't know if that's a great skill because once your knee is down, how far you throw it doesn't really matter. So I don't know why we're practicing that. So it's sort of like the guys that shoot the jump shots from behind the hoop. I'm going, you realize if you're standing behind the hoop that shot doesn't count. And he turned out to be a bust. But they very rarely did the Ravens or have the Ravens ever really, really busted especially on a first round pick.
For the Green Bay Packers in 2001, they drafted Florida State defensive end Jamal Reynolds with a top 10 pick.
So young. So young, this guy. So young.
That was when I remember that draft because that was one of the first or second drafts that I really paid attention to because I was in first grade at the time.
Mike, this guy's the Sports Illustrated cover boy, Tony Mandrich. The incredible bulk.
Tony Mandrich.
You have no idea who Tony Mandrich is.
No idea.
Zero idea. The blank stare says it all.
Zero idea. I have no idea.
Dude, he's right in your wheel. You need to Google Tony Mandrich.
I will Google Tony Mandrich.
Workout warrior. Unbelievable.
Yeah, he was Michigan State can't miss offensive lineman. He went to the Packers, right?
Yeah.
He
with the second pick.
Yeah. All right, straight ahead, besides transcendent future Hall of Fame tight end Kyle Pitts, which state of Florida college football program will produce the biggest star in the NFL draft? We'll get into that next on Open Mic.
Whether you're drinking your morning coffee or sipping on a seltzer,
ain't no laws when you're drinking clogs.
You're listening to Open Mic.
that guitar, Leonard Skinner. Oh, this isn't Leonard Skinner. This is the knockoff.
Hey, this is Lenny Skenny.
This is Leonard Skinner.
That's correct.
You probably don't even know who Leonard Skinner is, do you?
The band? The Sweet
No, the
Home
person.
Alabama. Oh, the person? I don't know. I didn't know there was a person Leonard Skinner.
You don't know the story of that. So. Do you know the story of that, Adam?
I don't know.
So Leonard Skinner, Ronnie Van Zant, and the boys, they all went to Jacksonville Lee High School, all right? Back in the, 70s, I guess. So they went to Jacksonville Lee High School, and they were all long-haired hippie types, all right, back in the day. And they had a PE teacher there, all right, who was a real hard ass, all right? And his name was Leonard, Leonard, Skinner. Skinner, all right? And he would always give these guys grief. He was telling them to get a haircut. He was just a pain, all right? So just to be funny, they named their band Leonard Skinner when they were in high school.
I like
and they
that.
obviously they changed the name of it, changed the spelling of it to Leonard Skinner with the Lynyrd.
Yeah, that way they don't have to pay him.
I swear to God, they're talking about me.
All right, first chance at $1,000. That's coming up at 7:10 a.m. this morning. All right, make an appointment. Game day payday brought to you by International Diamond Center. Our spontaneous text question in honor of the NFL draft today. We want your favorite NFL team's biggest draft bust. I'm a Jaguars fan. I declared Matt Jones, the quarterback out of Arkansas, who was drafted as a wide receiver, as the Jaguars' biggest bust. So here we go. The Kansas City Chiefs picked Todd Blackledge over Dan Marino, Jim Kelly, and John Elway. Yeah, that was bad. Justin Blackmon should also get some run as Jaguars' biggest bust. The Jaguars have had a few. I remember R.J. Soward way back when out of USC. He was another wide receiver. I think he lasted 1 year, and then he had all sorts of substance abuse issues as well. For the Bucs, I think it could be Roberto Aguayo.
Yeah, they moved up to get him.
They moved up to draft the kick. Where did they? They didn't draft him in the
second round.
Second round. Yeah, they moved up to draft a kicker, and he was just absolutely awful. Yeah, great in college, though.
That is honestly the greatest roll of the dice ever. That is either boom or bust, because if you get yourself a great kicker and he sticks around the net, because I want to say the year before that they had lost a bunch of games by like 2 and 3 points, and they said, well, let's go get the best kicker, because that could be the difference next season for us. And then the kid just lost it. Couldn't make a field goal.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers gains Adam, may he rest in peace, and they passed on Adrian Peterson. The Buccaneers drafted Cadillac Williams. That was a bust. That was an injury, though.
Yeah,
that was an injury.
So he got busted?
No.
Get it?
Yeah, he hurt his knee early in his career. Here's one. New York Giants, Derek Brown, the tight end from Notre Dame. He was drafted in the first round. Yeah. God, he was sort of a bust in college. I remember when he was coming out of Merritt Island High School back in the late 80s. He was like the number one recruit in the country. All the state teams wanted him. The Gators thought they had him for a while, and he ends up going to Notre Dame under Lou Holtz, and he was okay at Notre Dame, but again, just a big, fast tight end, but he never really panned out with the Giants or with Notre Dame. I'd have to look at his Notre Dame stats. Maybe he was better than I remember him being. But anyway, keep those coming in, 50857. Real quick before we get into the draft, so Orlando City is currently negotiating with Barnsley to determine the future of Daryl DK. All right, Daryl DK obviously went to Barnsley. Here's the part of the story I don't understand. He went to Barnsley on a free loan on February 1. So Orlando City has been getting nothing for Daryl DK. They just so is that what happens, Adam? They give you a free loan just to what? So they can show Daryl DK off to the European teams as sort of a test drive. Is that what it is?
Yeah, but over in Europe, sometimes if you've got a guy that's kind of buried on your bench, and that's not the issue with DK here, sometimes you'll loan him out so he can kind of get some playing time, get some experience in some other clubs. They were during the off season, and so they gave him a free loan. I think the idea was probably more for him to go over there, and if he shows a little something, then maybe he's worth something. Well, he's shown a lot more than just a little something. And though he's on a free loan, I think most people have been throwing around that $20 million number. I don't know if Barnsley's a customer for that price, especially if they don't make the Premiership. But he's definitely made enough noise over there in England where he will have some suitors, and there will be a price tag attached to him should he.
Yeah, but listen to what Orlando City's doing. So Barnsley, I guess, is getting ready to go into the playoffs. All right.
Yep.
I guess they're challenging for the playoffs. So Orlando City and their CEO Alex Leitao said the Lions will exercise the recall mechanism. All right, if the two clubs can't come to some new compensation agreement this week. So essentially, Orlando City says, "Okay, you've had enough free Daryl DK. All right, if you want him for the playoffs, fork over some cash, or we're bringing him back." So Orlando City's got the leverage now, right?
I think legally they may have the leverage there. I mean, I obviously have never looked at the contract, don't know what's in there, and don't know what they've agreed to. Could be one of those things as when the season's over, and then for Barnsley, maybe it says, "Hey, the season's not over. We think we." I do know this, that Daryl DK did himself tweet out. He's making the playoffs is great. Bigger goals. Can't wait to see this out with it. Daryl DK wants to be over there competing.
Well, of course he does.
Yeah.
Of course he does. But again, if you're Orlando City, and I could understand if you were getting some sort of you're getting nothing right now.
Oh, the stick to your agreement guy doesn't want to stick to the agreement anymore, huh?
Well, again, no.
Change the deal guy, huh?
Obviously, you would have to look again. Maybe the agreement was through a certain point in time. You would have to see the agreement, but. Hell, I wouldn't have sent him over there to begin with.
This is one of the worst deals I've ever seen.
Yeah.
One of the worst deals.
I'm not sending any. If he's one of your best players, why in the hell would you send him anywhere?
Because Daryl DK before this run was maybe worth $500,000 transfer fee, maybe a little bit more than that. Who knows? Daryl DK after this run, letting him go over there for free just netted you probably close to $19 million.
Yeah, I don't give a damn what Orlando City's making, all right? I want Daryl DK on the pitch for Orlando City, all right?
Why? Why would you want him on the pitch?
Because they can't score goals?
Yeah, but what happens when you score goals? What happens when you score goals? You win, right? And then what happens when you win? People get excited. They spend money, right? Yeah. You're going to make money either way. Right now, he's over there in England.
Which are you going to make more money on? 19 mil for Daryl DK, 20 mil for Daryl DK.
Again, I don't care what Flavio puts in his pocket. All right,
going to the club.
I want to see Daryl DK on the pitch.
Accounting is going to be quite transparent on this transaction. I'm sure of it. It'll stay in the club coffers.
Yes, of course.
All right, let's let's put off front page of the internet for a minute. I want to get into this draft question I have. All right. So Kyle Pitts, obviously, I think we all agree of any player in the state, Kyle Pitts has the best chance to turn into a star in the NFL. Does anybody disagree with that?
It's hard to argue against it.
Yeah, but here's my question. Of all the other players in the state, we're taking Kyle Pitts out of the discussion, all right, for the sake of argument. Of all of the other players in the state, whether it be, fellow Gators Kyle Trask, Kadarius Toney, whether it be Asante Samuel Jr. at Florida State, the Miami Hurricanes, they have a couple of really good defensive ends, Gregory Rousseau and Jaelan Phillips, all right? Of all the other players besides Kyle Pitts, who do you think has the best chance of turning into a star? I think it's Kyle Trask. I made that clear yesterday when we were talking about Kyle Trask. I want to know what you guys think. Tell me about these two defensive ends at Miami, Adam.
Well, I'll say that I was going to mention Gregory Rousseau because he's sort of out of sight, out of mind up until now. Because remember, he had that breakout season, then decided after COVID, I'm going to sit this year out. Well, Jaelan Phillips comes in there, and Jaelan Phillips was the #1 recruit in the country coming out of high school, by the way. Ended up at UCLA, had a couple concussion issues, and so he had to sort of get a fresh restart on his college football career and prove that he could remain healthy. He did that at Miami. It was unbelievable. To me, Gregory Rousseau, though, is a guy who's physically raw, football-wise, very young, and I think his upside is about as good as you can get. Because he's
6'7", 265, and ran a 4.68 40. So he's a big, tall dude who can run off the edge.
Yeah. No, and again, he's out of sight, out of mind. We're not talking about him because we didn't see him this year. But to just sort of like Jamar Chase, you know what I mean? I mean, when guys take the year off, you sort of forget about him until it's draft time, and then people go, well, what about that guy? Oh, yeah, he's really good. We just don't have fresh tape on him right now.
Right.
But Gregory Rousseau is a guy to me who was ascending. And so we didn't see this last year of ascension. And had he had stayed in college and played just 20% better than he played the year before, kind of continued the growth track that he was on, he'd be, in my mind, he'd be a top 10 pick. He'd be a top 10 pick. So I think Gregory Rousseau has the best upside maybe of anybody in the first round of the draft. Now, again, I'm a Miami guy, so I'm a little bit biased, but where he's come from and where I think he can go is a pretty big step.
See, I was going to say Kadarius Toney, and the reason why is because he's right in that sweet spot of where he's going to be drafted late first round. Everybody's got great quarterbacks, and he is going to flourish with a great quarterback. There are rumors that the Green Bay Packers are super interested in him. I hope so. I hope he ends up on the Green Bay Packers.
Stop it. The Packers wouldn't dare draft a weapon for Aaron Rodgers. That's not what they do.
You're absolutely correct. I'm sorry I even brought it up.
You know who hopes that doesn't happen? Kadarius Toney. This guy, what's he from? He's from Georgia or Alabama. He's played in Florida. The last thing that guy wants to do is, I go to Green Bay. Yeah. What? I don't even own a jacket.
By the way, there's talk that Richie Grant, the safety from UCF, he could slide into the late first round. UCF has 3 DBs: Richie Grant, Aaron Robinson, and Tay Gowan, who, again, they're projected from anywhere from late to first round. That would be Richie Grant to third round picks. If Richie Grant's drafted in the first round, he would be the fifth first round draft pick since 1987. Who can name UCF's first round draft pick since 1987?
Since 1987, who's the receiver? Perriman? He was the first round pick.
Perriman. Yeah.
Dante Culpepper. And there's 2 more.
Obvious one.
Oh, there's an obvious one that I'm missing.
Jags quarterback.
Blake Bortles.
How do we forget about Blake Bortles?
And then there's one more.
Yeah, had one of the great plays in UCF history against USF.
What's his name? Mike. Is it Mike Hughes?
Mike
Hughes, first round
safety.
Pick?
Yeah, late first round. Yeah. So anyway, we shall see what happens. We do have a poll up. How do we word the thought-provoking daily poll? If you take transcendent Gators tight end Kyle Pitts out of the mix, which state of Florida college football program will produce the biggest star in the upcoming NFL draft? Your choices are the Florida Gators, the FSU Seminoles, the UCF Knights, and the Miami Hurricanes. Adam's going Miami, and Austin and I are going Florida because I still say Kyle Trask, and Austin says Kadarius Toney. Go vote at 96.9 The Game on Twitter. We have some other polls you can vote on as well. Let's pause for station identification.
WYGM Orlando, WJRR HD2 Cocoa Beach, FM 96.9 The Game, the home of Orlando City Soccer Club.
What you reading there, honey?
It's very exciting stuff, you see. It's the front page of the internet.
Here we go with the front page of the internet this morning. We start off on YouTube's trending page, where one of the top videos comes from the Lock-Picking Lawyer, is his name on YouTube. He does very short videos showing you how to break into all different kinds of locks. This time, he tests out Amazon's slash-resistant, and he puts it in air quotes, portable safe. And he has like an X-Acto knife and just slices right through it. So if you ever are like looking to buy a lock, go to his page, type in that lock, and see if he's cracked it or not, because he's done all of like the Amazon top choices, and he's like, this one actually, if you just wiggle here, it pops open. He's an incredible YouTuber, and this video has about 1 million views right now.
I can just find one thing that I do that that I would assume nobody would care about, but apparently there are millions of people that care about it.
There's an audience for everything, man. Absolutely everything. Happy birthday today to comedian, actor, producer, writer, Jerry Seinfeld.
I love it.
Jerry Seinfeld, he's 67.
God, please don't tell me Jerry Seinfeld's 67. 63.
He's 67.
Is he 67?
Wow. He is 67 years old.
So old.
Can you do a Jerry Seinfeld impression?
No, not really. No, I'm not good at Jerry Seinfeld.
Okay, all right.
I was telling
What's
my daughter.
up with airline food?
I was telling my daughter about the Man Hands episode the other day.
I love that episode.
When she's like wiping the mustard off his face. Big old giant offensive lineman hands.
Cracking the lobster. Yeah. Oh,
it's a great
Never saw it.
What?
Never saw that episode.
If you like, I will say this: if you like Seinfeld and you don't mind a little bit more blue language, if you will, Curb Your Enthusiasm with the creator of Seinfeld, Larry David, is a must-watch. It's funnier than Seinfeld because it's, like, in my opinion, more realistic.
Yeah,
I'm gonna start watching something on like binge watching like a series. Maybe that'll be it. Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah, you could start from season 1 because there is a storyline. Some of it, it's kind of loosely connected, but yeah, there's some really good things on there.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I think they're finishing the last season right now, filming, so they're still working on some
perfect time to binge.
Yeah, perfect.
Then trending across social media last night was Joe Biden's joint address to Congress. According to the New York Times, the biggest things of note were, for the first time in history, 2 women sat behind the podium for the president's speech. Joe Biden pitched the largest jobs plan since World War II. The president beat his goal of 100 million vaccine shots in his first 100 days, and Biden plans to move ahead with a $6 trillion spending plan, even if he doesn't receive a single Republican vote of support in Congress. That one, obviously, is getting the most talked about today.
Let me guess, all right? CNN thought it was a great address, and Fox News thought it was terrible. Yeah.
That's how it goes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's spot on there.
CNN says the country is going to be in a much better place in 4 years. Fox reporting we're all going to die.
Oh, man. And finally, you guys know T-Pain. Tallahassee Pain.
Yes.
He posted on Twitter on TikTok that he just found out about the request a DM page on Twitter, and he scrolled through for 2 years. He ignored celebrity DMs on Twitter. Like, celebrities were trying to DM him, and he didn't know that they were.
Oh, because if you're not following somebody and somebody direct messages you, it goes into this other compartment that says, hey, you've got messages, but you don't really see it. It doesn't pop up.
Right.
And not that I'm a celebrity, but I have this happen to me a lot. It happens to be from somebody, with a bunch of numbers behind their name.
Mm-hmm.
And she looks like a Russian supermodel, and she wants to explain cryptocurrency to me. It's really weird.
I've ignored my regular DMs for months at a time.
I'm bad about that too.
Some of the ones of note, Fergie DM'd him, and he had no idea. He just ignored
imagine you'd
it.
be kicking yourself if it's like, like somebody's super hot and she's like, listen, I really like your music and I'm going to be in LA next week. Maybe we should get a drink or something. And then you look back 3 years later, but she's now married and has a kid, pregnant. You're like, ow, the window was open for a second and then shut.
It was right there. That's the front page of the internet today.
That is the front page of the internet. Hey, real quick, so Nick Saban was on Feinbaum's show, I believe it was yesterday, and they were talking about the new college football, the college football playoff management council sort of opened the door last week to expand the playoffs before the current TV contract is even up, and I'm predicting we're going to have an expanded 8-team playoff by the year 2023. Nick Saban was asked about that by Feinbaum, and he's against expansion of the playoff. Play the clip.
I think the playoff, as I said many years ago, when we first had just 2 teams in the playoff, and we expanded to 4, that the more playoffs we have, the less significant bowl games are going to be. So it's really not for me, and I don't think I'm even capable of judging how significant the positive self-gratification so many players get, so many programs get, so many coaches get for being able to go to a bowl game. And now everything is shifted to the 4 teams in the playoffs, and the bowls seem to be pretty insignificant. So I think if we expand the playoffs, you're going to see a continuation of that trend where the bowl games become less and less significant. And maybe these 2 things can't coexist. But if they're going to coexist, maybe we should try to, leave them pretty much the same. But I know there's a lot of interest in the playoff. But the other thing that I would be concerned about is, how many games should we really play? The SEC championship game, to me, if you look at all the years we played in it, most of those games were playoff games. We were playing somebody in the top 5.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Of course, Nick Saban doesn't want to expand the playoffs. Why should he want to? He gets in it every year anyway. Right? He gets in. Yeah, if he were coaching at UCF, he'd be for playoff expansion. But hey, if you're a kingpin in a major conference, why would you want expansion? That just means more hurdles you have to go through to win a national championship, right?
I love that he's like, well, it really diminishes the importance of bowl games. When was the last time you were in a bowl game, man? Like, you've been
in fairness, though, he did say that even right when they were even talking about the college football playoff, he said, "Hey, this is going to make the bowl games insignificant." So he was right about that, and he did say it from the beginning.
See, I would even disagree in this way that okay, look, back in the day, we had one national championship game that was at the Sugar Bowl, right? That year happened to be the Sugar Bowl. That Sugar Bowl became more important, right, than any Sugar Bowl in history before it. And then when we stretched the playoffs, and now the semifinals are at the Sugar Bowl and the Orange Bowl, and the national championship is at the Rose Bowl. Now the Sugar Bowl and the Orange Bowl are now more important than they've ever been, and the Rose Bowl is super important. Here's what I'm saying. Now we go to 8 teams, and now it's the Outback. Listen.
The Camping World Bowl, you're right.
Nobody outside the SEC or the Big Ten has ever given a damn about the Outback Bowl, okay? Now, they're an ACC fan that goes, man, what happened to the Outback Bowl? I'm really interested to see that. Nobody in the Pac-12 has ever given a damn about the Outback Bowl. Only us down here and them up there. They're the only people that have ever cared about the Outback Bowl. You make that the quarterfinal matchup, and now USC is playing against Ohio State in the quarterfinal matchup. Guess what people out west care about? The Outback Bowl. It makes the Bulls more relevant. Not less relevant, more relevant.
Interesting. All right, straight ahead, we have the sound off. Austin has compiled the best draft day sound out there, and we are going to react to it. But first, we have a chance for you to win $1,000.
Now, here's your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website, water. That's water. Enter it now.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine 96.9 The Game studios.
That may be the greatest catch I've ever seen.
Anajar and Levine, accident attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. We are FM 96.9 The Game, an iHeartRadio station.
Rising for three. He drills it.
This report is sponsored by LifeLock Identity Theft Protection.
We're already slow eastbound on I-4 between U.S. Highway 27 and just past Osceola Polk Line Road. There's right lane construction westbound on the Beach Line near the Dallas Main Line Toll Plaza, right lane construction southbound on South Orlando Drive at West 27th Street in Sanford, and a vehicle fire on the right shoulder southbound on I-95 south of Palm Bay Road in Brevard County. See traffic problems? Call the SafeTouchSecurity.com traffic tip line at 866-676-8477 from the Traffic Center on Daisy Ash.
Identity thieves love tax forms with personal info needed to steal your identity. That's why LifeLock helps protect, monitor, and restore your identity. No one can monitor all transactions at all businesses, but you can save up to 25% off your first year at LifeLock.com. Promo code RISK.
For years, you've been thinking about getting LASIK. You've been talking about getting LASIK. And now, it's finally time to get LASIK. Right now, LASIK Plus is offering $500 off LASIK. That's $250 off per eye. Plus, special financing for 24 months on LASIK with your Care Credit credit card to those treated in May. LASIK Plus has performed over 2 million procedures and treats every patient with the individualized care they deserve. Treatments take just minutes, and patients are often back to work the next day. And remember our $500 off LASIK special. That's $250 off per eye, plus special financing. Call 844-211-2020 or visit mylasicoffer.com today. That's 844-211-2020. Must mention this promotion and be treated in May 2021 to qualify. $500 discount applies to standard wavelight price when treating both eyes. $250 discount for one eye. Special financing subject to credit approval. Minimum monthly payments required. See carecredit.com for details.
Treat the family to dinner, drinks, and Disney movie night, all outside of the Dr. Phillips Center Front Yard Festival. Tickets are only $5 to $10, so see what's playing at frontyardfestival.org. Presented by Advent Health and supported by Experience Kissimmee.
One thing I like about IDC is we're very transparent.
Meet John DiSabatino, manager at International Diamond Center.
Somebody comes in and they're looking for a diamond. We're very transparent on what that diamond is.
In fact, at IDC, they'll share with you the inside secrets of the diamond industry. Teach you how to buy like a dealer buys with a no-holds-barred diamond education, including how to value a diamond on the world market.
We don't believe on creating an artificial markup and then coming down on the price, which you'll see a lot of our competitors will do. We even have customers that'll leave other jewelry stores, walk in here, and then the other jewelry stores call them again and taking another $1,000 off the price. Well, what was the real price?
It's different at IDC because there's nothing to hide. No pricing games, no tricks, no old school ridiculous margins.
We look at overall volume. We're not looking at trying to make this huge profit.
It's all about putting you first and respecting your intelligence.
So coming here at IDC, you're going to get the best merchandise at the best prices, and you're going to get the best experience.
International Diamond Center, 4 Orlando area locations. Online at shopidc.com.
No one outfits golfers better than Edwin Watts Golf Shops. We've been fitting golfers since 1968. Utilizing cutting-edge fitting technology, we'll analyze your swing and our Foresight launch monitors and fit you with the perfect club, pair of shoes, the latest golf apparel, golf balls, bags, and more. So come by today for your complete custom fitting. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day 100% satisfaction guarantee.
Panera favorites are hot and ready to serve for dinner. Taste our creamy mac and cheese served in a crispy bread bowl. Or the classic bacon turkey Bravo featuring our signature sauce. How about our new mouth-watering Chipotle chicken and bacon flatbread pizza? These and other favorites are waiting for you. Order dinner tonight for delivery or pickup. Only at Panera. Availability and pricing may vary.
Nissan believes you deserve a car that thrills you. So we have to ask, does your car thrill you? When you hit the pedal, do you get something back? A chill in your spine, goosebumps on your goosebumps. When you take off, do your fingers tighten around the steering wheel? Does your heart beat in your stomach and your breath catch in your chest? Does driving make you feel alive? Because it should. And if your car doesn't thrill you, ours will. This is the new Nissan.
At Florida Cancer Specialists, we provide world-class care close to home because when you're fighting cancer in these unprecedented times, you need the most advanced treatments, national clinical trials, and 24/7 access to an oncology care manager. We have a single-minded focus on the safety of our patients, as well as our courageous physicians, nurses, and staff members. And we're with you every step of the way. More at flcancer.com.
With the first pick, the free iHeart app has you covered for the NFL Draft. Listen to the draft with exclusive live coverage from the #1 draft pick all the way to Mr. Irrelevant. And we've added even more hits with the NFL Draft playlist, featuring music selected by some of the biggest stars in this year's NFL Draft class. Make your plans now for the NFL Draft with exclusive player playlists and live pick-by-pick coverage. And you can listen from anywhere, only on the free iHeart app. #1 for music, radio, and podcasts, all in one.
Saturday night, the Lions square off against FC Cincinnati. Pre-game at 7 and kickoff at 7:30. Listen live on our sister station, Real Radio 104.1.
That is the blast. What is the blast?
No, it's not.
Oh, that's the sound off.
Yeah, it is.
Sound off. That means Austin Pastolka has compiled the hottest sound of the day, and we are getting ready to react to it. What do we have, Austin?
Sound off! Sound off! Our success and failure is going to be dependent upon this pick. And I've witnessed all 32 teams, how they go about their business. And I've always had great admiration for the organizations that dig and work and drive and, are always not asking, they can't ask enough questions.
That's Urban Meyer talking about how this is the most important pick. Blah, blah, blah. Let me tell you, brother.
I can't stand that guy.
What? What's going on? What? Explain.
Nobody can stand Urban Meyer.
Mike, did you hear it? Like he's like, I've what did he say? Like I've watched all 32
play it
teams.
again.
I'll play it again.
Our success and failure is going to be dependent upon this pick. And I've witnessed all 32 teams, how they go about their business. And I've always had great admiration for
What a liar. What do you mean? Like you've been in the front office of all 32 and you know that I maybe as a coach he recognizes some guy. So I admire, have great admiration for the ones that really do. Who are the teams that don't? Which I mean, as he says that, I have great admiration for the teams that do. Do they not all? I mean, you've witnessed all 32 teams, so that means at least 32 teams, all 32 teams have come to you and you're a college coach, so doesn't that mean all of them have?
Urban Meyer, we used to always say it when he was coaching at Florida, all right? Again, he is a well-known liar. We all know that. Urban Meyer says what gets him through the next 5 minutes. That's
exactly.
Urban Meyer. That's what he does. It doesn't matter if in an hour later you find out what he was saying wasn't true. He doesn't care about that. Just get him through the next 5 minutes until the press conference is over, and he'll say whatever comes to mind. That's what Urban Meyer does. Yeah.
Sound off! Sound off!
We're not afraid to make picks. Travis, at the end of the day, it's, we'll make the picks. But we have great confidence that this coaching staff has shown that they can develop players and get the best out of them. And so that's the exciting part of it, is that listening through them, the thought process, and watching those guys coach every day and the details that, Brian and his staff are on is what makes it fun here. And players know that and they appreciate it. And finding those right type of guys that love to work and do everything is very important, because we know those players can get even better. And so that's the exciting part of working with Brian and his staff.
That's Chris Greer, the Dolphins GM, saying, we're not afraid to make picks. Well, I hope not. You got a few.
Yeah, great news for you. Tonight's your night, bro.
Absolutely.
Tonight is your night, bro.
Mike, my question for you is, we've seen the Dolphins really grow over the last 2 years. He talked a lot about developing players. How much faith do you have in the Dolphins coaching to actually develop anyone that they get?
No, I think Brian Flores, again, he comes from the Bill Belichick tree, and I realize Belichick, some of his colleagues haven't exactly been ultra successful as head coaches, but I think Brian Flores is on a really good career path right now. I think he's a good coach. I think his players respect him. I think he can develop players, and here's the other thing. The Dolphins have options. during this draft. I mean, they're picking at number 6. They could move up. They could move down. They could stand pat. So they have some options. We'll get into what we think they'll do during the blast segment coming up. But I have a lot of faith in the Dolphins right now. Maybe as much faith as I've had in the Dolphins in decades, really, since Shula left.
There are opportunities for us to get better in terms of our depth. You never know how these players come in. They could challenge for a starting spot somewhere. We are excited about the fact, like we've talked about this before, that, in a lot of drafts where you have a lot of needs, now we have a lot of wants. It's exciting to go into a draft like that.
That's Jason Light, the Bucs GM, talking about how we don't have a whole lot of needs, but we do have a couple wants. What do you think those wants really are? Because, I mean, they just signed Antonio Brown. They've signed back the whole team. What would that want be, Adam?
I think their want would be is if they can find the right, and I'm sure that they've got a guy circled or two to say, hey, listen, if at the end of this first round, this quarterback is still on the board or this guy slips here, we want the quarterback of the future. Listen, Tom Brady's tremendous, and his career, I mean, you just can't say enough about it. But at some point, you're going to have to turn the page, or one day Tom Brady will turn the page for you, and you got to be prepared for that. We didn't even know who we don't really even know who the backup is in Tampa. So starting to prepare for the future without having to do it is a great luxury to have. And so I guess the need isn't for this year or the want. I think the want will be to be prepared when Tom Brady says, okay, that's it. I came back this year. I won back-to-back Super Bowls. I'm the greatest quarterback of all time. I'm done now, and be able to hand the reins to somebody who's prepared for it.
Mike, do you think they have a certain want?
Well, obviously, if you're the Bucs, you take the best player available. Jason Pierre-Paul, we don't know what his future is with the Buccaneers. They're not going to be able to sign everybody next year. I mean, they're going to have free agents who come available next year as well. Now, they were able to sign all of their free agents this year, but that's not going to be the case moving forward. So, I mean, maybe they'll draft the defensive end from Miami that Adam's so high on, Rousseau. Maybe they'll draft him at that 32nd spot if he's available. So yeah, I mean they're gonna take the best player available. And not necessarily a quarterback even.
Sound off. That is the sound off for today.
That is the sound off. Straight ahead, we're gonna tell you who we think each team should take in the upcoming NFL draft tonight. Also want to get into what Bryce Harper, he got hit right in the face by a 96-mile-per-hour fastball. We may get into that next as well on Open Mic.
Open Mic.
You feel that?
I can feel it.
We're about to blast off.
Just took it to my veins!
It's time for the blast.
Welcome back to Open Mic, and we are doing the blast early today. Let's get started with the Open Mic Thought-Provoking Daily Poll. Remember, you can vote on all of these polls over on Twitter at 969thegame. Today's thought-provoking daily poll is this. If you take transcendent Gators tight end Kyle Pitts out of the mix, which state of Florida college football program will produce the biggest star in the upcoming NFL draft? Will it be Florida, FSU, UCF, or Miami?
Call me stubborn, call me a provincialist, call me a Gator homer, call me whatever you want, all right? I insist that Kyle Trask is one of the best quarterbacks in this draft. I don't care that the draftniks have him rated as the 5th best quarterback or the 6th best quarterback or even the 7th best quarterback. Kyle Trask is going to be a star in the NFL. Take him if you want to, Tampa Bay Buccaneers or whoever, all right? Because he's going to be a star one way or the other. Whoever gets Kyle Trask is getting a future star in the league. I'm not saying he's going to be a future Hall of Famer like Kyle Pitts, but he will be a really good NFL quarterback for a lot of years. Kyle Trask. So that means the Gators will have the biggest star in the draft.
I say Gregory Rousseau from the University of Miami, sort of out of sight, out of mind as he sat this year out. But I remember a young 6'7", 6'8" type defensive end from Miami that went on to have a pretty decent career in the NFL on the defensive line. His name's Calais Campbell. You may have heard of him.
Never heard of him.
Never heard of him. This kid's more athletic than Calais Campbell, and I believe his ceiling, he's not even been close to touching that ceiling yet. So I'll be very, very interested to see where he ends up and how his career pans out.
With 44% of the vote, Florida wins this one, and I tend to agree because I believe in Kadarius Toney. Second place with 33% of the vote is UCF.
Calais Campbell, 6'8". I didn't realize he was that tall.
Tall dude.
Supplemental poll number 1. Would there be protests in the streets of Duval if new Jaguars coach Urban Meyer selected anybody other than Trevor Lawrence with the number 1 overall pick tonight? Yes or no?
Oh, absolutely. Wouldn't you love it, though, if with the first pick, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Justin Fields, quarterback, Ohio State. Well, that would be unbelievable.
Pure chaos.
I wonder, though. I wonder.
Isn't the draft in Cleveland, Ohio, right?
Yeah.
So that may be in the moment, on location, and braced quite well. Oh, Ohio State kid, yeah! Woo! But then there'd be like...
Right, let me bring up a scenario here, and I'll bring it up with Gene Fournette as well. He's going to join us next segment, Jaguars Insider. All right. Say Urban Meyer liked, take Justin Fields out of it because he's an Ohio State guy. Say he liked Zach Wilson better than Trevor Lawrence. Is there so much pressure, public pressure, to take Trevor Lawrence that they would even take Trevor Lawrence over a quarterback they like better?
Yes.
I think so, too.
Yeah,
I think he has.
It's protection. It's protection from if this guy flops. Because if this guy flops, if Trevor Lawrence flops, nobody's going to look at Urban and go, oh, you drafted the wrong guy, because everybody and their grandma would have drafted this guy. You know, whereas if you roll the dice on the guy who's second or third in the consensus, you're putting your name, stamping your name on that pick.
Okay, but say you think Trevor Lawrence might flop, all right? Say there's something you just don't like about Trevor Lawrence, and Zach Wilson's the guy you think is the can't-miss guy. You're still going to bend the public pressure.
Yeah, because those are the ones that are going to write the articles. They go, this dude went against the grain, had to try to do his own thing, and it felt. Now on the flip side, if you do that and Trevor Lawrence does bust with the Jets, and then you've got Zach Wilson, who turns out to be one of the greatest quarterbacks ever, people will talk about you like Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah.
With
the Cowboys, not the Dolphins.
Yeah, the Cowboys, Jimmy Johnson.
76% of the vote says yes, there would be protests in the streets, and you know what? I would riot with them.
First of all,
of course you would.
The folks voting on this aren't quite very familiar with the happenings in Duval. It'd be more than just protests, okay?
Supplemental poll number 2. If available, who should the Miami Dolphins draft with the number 6 overall pick in tonight's NFL draft? Is it Jamar Chase of LSU, Jaylen Waddle of Alabama? Should they trade up for Kyle Pitts, or should they trade down for DeVonta Smith?
Ooh, that's a good one. I mean, if the Falcons would give up their 4 pick, I would trade up for Kyle Pitts. I don't care that they have Mike Gesicki, all right? I would trade up for Kyle Pitts. Again, I think this guy is going to be the biggest star to come out of this NFL draft. And if you're the Dolphins and you want weapons for Tua, and you want Tua to be able to, throw the ball to a big, tall, fast wide receiver / tight end, I mean, you're looking for the ultimate weapon for Tua, who hasn't been that accurate thus far. Well, you don't need to be that accurate with Kyle Pitts, because he will get the ball wherever you throw it. Yes, I think they should move up and draft Kyle Pitts.
I say, depending on what your board looks like in Miami, either you get Waddle there at that spot, or if you actually like DeVonta Smith better and you feel like you can move down a couple spots, acquire some more picks for the future, and then get Smith. I say get Smith. Though Gesicki doesn't have the excitement around his name that Kyle Pitts does right now. He's a good NFL tight end. You've got a good NFL tight end. You could end up with a great one, but that's a bit of a roll of the dice still. I mean, you know what you have in Gesicki. You need other weapons, and so I think I would look elsewhere if I were the Dolphins.
With 47% of the vote, Jamar Chase wins this one.
Yeah.
Supplemental poll number 3. Supplemental poll number 3. If available, who should the Jacksonville Jaguars take with their 25 overall pick in tonight's NFL draft? Kadarius Toney, Najee Harris, Jaelan Phillips, or Asante Samuel Jr.?
Definitely not taking a running back in the first round. I don't believe in that. I'm gonna go your boy, Austin. I'm gonna go Kadarius Toney. I think the guy is electric. He's exciting. He's a touchdown maker. Again, you're getting a new quarterback in Trevor Lawrence. Why not get him the ultimate touchdown maker in Kadarius Toney? Get him the ball in space, and he can take it the distance. He can, Kadarius Toney to me could be Urban Meyer's version of Percy Harvin. He had Percy Harvin in college. I think Kadarius Toney could be that type of playmaker for Urban Meyer in the pros.
All right, you are drafting Trevor Lawrence, number 1. We know that, okay? I think the best way to protect him is to make your defense a little bit better, because you get into these 45 to 40 type battles, that means your quarterback is dropping back to pass a lot. And if you're doing that a lot, there's more opportunities for other teams' defensive ends and defensive tackles to land on top of him. This team needs some defensive help. They cannot go 2 picks in the first round without at least addressing a defensive position. So I don't care who it is, but it's got to be on the defensive side of the football. And then with the first pick in the second round, you can then go get the best wide receiver available.
With 38% of the vote, Kadarius Toney wins this one. Supplemental poll number 4. If available, who should the Tampa Bay Bucs take with their 32nd overall pick in tonight's NFL draft? The last pick of the first round. Will it go to Kyle Trask, Gregory Rousseau, Travis Etienne, or Christian Barmore?
Oh, you know what I think. I think Kyle Trask should go before the last pick of the first round, although a lot of people say he won't even go in the first round. If Kyle Trask is available and the Bucs don't take him, I lose a lot of respect for Jason Light and Bruce Arians, because they are passing on a quarterback of the future. Yeah, let's call it what it is, all right? They got Tom Brady, all right? Tom Brady went to them. They didn't have to do anything to get Tom Brady. It didn't take any genius to be able to sign Tom Brady. It would take a bold genius move to get Kyle Trask and mold him for the future.
As a matter of fact, I agree with Mike here on this one. If I'm the Bucs, I trade up to number 1 to take Kyle Trask.
There you
That's
go.
What I would do.
Hell yeah.
Right? I mean, you want to make a bold move as a GM.
Yeah.
Try that on for size.
It's all about the wants, brother. Ain't got no needs. 40% of the vote says Kyle Trask on this one. And finally, the open mic Would You Rather poll. Would you rather? This one is very specific towards Mike, okay?
Mm-hmm. I'll do my best. Hold on.
All right. Would you rather be the best chef ever, but your only fame can come via a YouTube channel, or become a world-class baker, no strings attached?
World-class
this is
baker.
easy. This is easy, but I wonder how Mike's going to go with this.
Oh, well, here's where I'm going to go. Well, which do you think you can make more money at?
That's up to you, Mike. Which do you think will make more money?
Wait, your only fame is on YouTube?
Your only fame is on YouTube.
I'll go world class baker, no strings attached.
Is your only revenue stream YouTube?
It is. Yes.
Oh, then you have to become the baker.
Oh, I disagree wholeheartedly with that.
Yeah,
it absolutely. You know how much money people make on YouTube?
Yeah. Well, you asked Sarah Lee how much money she made. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Little Debbie. Little Debbie. All right. Yeah,
That's Dolly Madison.
Yeah.
That's Dolly Madison. How much she made on her snack cakes?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
55% of the vote said YouTube chef.
Bill Hostess. I mean, Bill Hostess is still killing it.
All right, straight ahead, we have the insiders. We've made our picks, all right, but we're going to have the insiders who cover the Jags, the Bucs, and the Dolphins join us for the Open Mic official mock draft. State of Florida coming your way next on Open Mic.
Time to put the pedal to the floor. It's loud and live and local. Oh, time for open mic.
Welcome back to Open Mic. I'm Mike Bianchi, the Bulldog sports columnist of the Orlando Sentinel, joined as always by Adam Reardon, the deceptive intellect, and of course Austin Pastolka, the Sultan of Sound. Together we are Open Mic, the troika of sports talk radio excellence in the megalopolis we know as Central Florida. Give us a call, 407-916-8255. Tweet us at 96.9 The Game. Text us at our Academy Sports and Outdoors text line 50857. Our spontaneous text question of the day. Your favorite NFL
text question of the day.
Your favorite NFL team's biggest draft bust. Text those into 50857. And we will read some of those later on in the show. Coming up momentarily, we're going to have our official Open Mic State of Florida mock draft, where we have the draft day insiders from all of the teams, the Jaguars, the Bucs, and the Dolphins. We're going to have the insiders that cover those teams make the picks, at least in the first round, for those respective teams. All right? But before we do that, give me a little magic sound from last night.
Anthony spinning into the middle. Anthony, left-handed shot. He banked it in. Miraculous shot by Cole Anthony. Rejected by Carter. Picked up by Bacon. Bacon driving. Layup is good. Anthony. Another difficult finish by Cole Anthony.
He's just getting up as high as he can. He didn't even see the basket. My goodness, what a shot.
Ain't no quit, yo. We all young, we all hungry. Even us dudes who are a little older, they hungry too. They're here for a reason, man. I mean, as I said, look, ain't been the best season, but that don't mean we can't get some positive things going.
Ain't no quit, says Cole Anthony, who scored 12 crucial points in the fourth quarter to lead the Magic over the Cleveland Cavaliers 109-104 in a NBA battle of futility last night at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse in Cleveland. Anthony finished with 18 points. The Magic improved to 19-43. They moved ahead of Detroit into 14th place in the Eastern Conference standings. They're no longer dead last in the Eastern Conference. The Magic certainly made it interesting in the fourth quarter. They squandered a 23-point lead. They were trying to lose, all right, but Cleveland was having none of that nonsense, Adam Reardon. Cleveland said, "No way. We're not gonna let you lose this game because we want to lose it more than you do."
Yeah, I mean, we're both playing for something here, and that's better ball positioning when the draft lottery comes about. So, give credit to the players. The players are always going to play hard. It's just a matter of whether or not they've got good enough players to beat teams in the NBA. And the answer last night against the Cavs was, yeah, they do. At least this team.
I asked when we had John Hammond, Magic GM, on the other day. I asked him how much does losing a lot. How much does that hinder player development? You would think losing a lot of games. You coach, Adam. You know what happens when you get into that the loser syndrome, if you will. It's hard to break out of that. I mean, you can't just flip a switch and say, okay, I'm a winner now. Like next year, you can't just say, okay, ready to win now. We're not going to lose anymore. Once you get into that losing syndrome, it's hard to break out of.
It's a mindset, a mentality, really, is more than anything else. We sort of joked about Mamba mentality. Mamba mentality is something that Kobe developed a long time ago, and that was the will to win and the refusal to lose. There is something about an organization you get drafted to that immediately, or you're in, that if it doesn't become apparent or you don't feel that winning is the most important thing, then yeah, I think that there is a chance to sort of go, well, that's just another loss. Losing ceases to bother you. And that can happen if that happens too often, and you got to protect against that. And